Okay, one more step. Jack here again in my office, and this step right now is the last step before we actually talk about going out there and putting the properties up for sale on the different places. And this step is now one of the most crucial steps at all, which is the step about crafting your offer. I can't tell you how many students are failing because they're not getting this right or because they don't pay attention to this. So make sure you pay attention to it and even watch this episode multiple times. Watch this session multiple times, because it's really important that you follow every single step of this process. Again, I can give you another example. One of our students, family from Florida, already in the real estate market, got into our program, got the land profit generated, the old version of it, which did not have this module in it. So this one is the better product. You get it right here. So it has this module in it. So they came to us, and within a matter of 3 weeks or 4 weeks, they had 5 properties under contract. They were totally excited. They were marketing these properties, and a matter of 4 weeks passed, and it knows it, crickets. Bunch of interested people, but nobody wanted to buy the property. Quiet. So there's they were like distressed, let's put it that way. So they came to us and they're like, "What's going on, Jack? We have these properties listed and nobody wants to buy them." So I arranged for a phone call with them. Every once in a while I do that. If I see somebody is taking action and is doing deals and is struggling somewhere, my team tells me about that. And in that case, I reached out and was like, "Let's do a phone call." So we did a phone call, and they showed me what they have. I asked them to email me the listings. I looked at those listings. The moment I looked at those listings, it was 100% clear to me why these properties had not been selling. So what I did is I drafted up an exact detailed plan for them to go and rework their listing in a very simple way. It has 4 pieces to it, and once you implement those 4 simple pieces, your property should sell much, much faster. And while we did it, they implemented it. 2 weeks later, I got an email from them saying like, "Thank you so much, Jack. In the last 2 weeks, we changed the listings right away to exactly what you said. 2 weeks later, we have all 5 properties sold and making a profit of over $25,000 cash." So that's the power of positioning your property correctly. And I'm going to show you right now how to do that.
All right, so now let's jump into that process of how you craft these offers. Let's jump into the proper listing formats. Let's jump into those 4 parts that I talked to you about that I put together for this family that we're doing the deals. And I'm actually going to show you the actual deals. They first actually came to me with 4, not 5 deals, but then shortly afterwards they added the 5th deal. So the total of 5 deals that they did was $25,000. I'll show you proof of the 4, and the 5th one then came. The 4 alone make over $21,000, and then the other ones, the 5th one came right afterwards. But there's a few pieces here to this module that are really crucial to your understanding. Before then, in the next module, we'll jump over into the actual steps and into the actual techniques of how to sell these properties. But you'll probably agree with me that it's important to match up your property with the right buyers, that it's important to understand who your buyers are, right? It's important to be able to speak to them, and it's important to craft your message properly and generate your listing properly before you go out there and just go crazy with these listings. Because if you follow this process in this sequence, then you have the best foundation for your success in lot and land flipping. Okay, there we go. So the hourglass principle is the first principle I'm going to share with you. Now here's the thing. The premise behind the hourglass principle is that you are not selling land or lots. Instead, you are selling the dream of a dignified retirement. The dream of having weekend fun and being able to kind of like let loose on a bigger piece of land. The dream of having a place away from it all, right? The dream of a second home. The dream of tremendous financial independence, right? A tremendous financial deal, right? Either in potential appreciation or in discount over true market value, which automatically leads to profits when you sell it at a higher price later on. So this is really what we're selling. The land is just a bunch of dirt. So in order to package the land such that it becomes truly attractive to people. We want to not just say, hey, here's a bunch of dirt. Do you want to have it? Now, who wants dirt, right? Dirt is the stuff that you broom out of your house, right? Dirt is the stuff that you mop up. You don't want just a bunch of dirt. What you want is hope for the future. What you want is a place to bond with your children. What you want is a place that is home base to go have fun. What you want is the place that 10 years down the road you can retire in dignity. That what you want is a place close to the city, a place that you can retire in style, or in whatever that style means, right? What you want is a place that's gonna be worth 20 times more when the city approaches. What you want is a place that you got, or a lot that you got cheap right now, that at any given time you can sell for profits. That's what you want. The lot is just a means to an end, right? So therefore, you want to apply that hourglass principle. The way we go about that is, if you envision an hourglass that's like wide on top, skinny in the middle, and wide on the bottom, that's how we want to go about when listing our properties, in both pictures as in word. So in pictures, we do that by having the listing reflect that in pictures by showing the attractions of the area first. We don't start with a picture of a bunch of dirt. We show the attractions of the area first. So if that property is 5 miles from a lake, we show the lake. The property's not on the lake, but the lake puts a picture in the people's minds that, oh my God, I can be on a lake on the weekend. I can live close to a lake, right? Shows the attraction first. Then it shows the amenities close by. Right? If you're targeting to the potential retiree, you want to show that there's a hospital close by, that there's a grocery store close by, that there are restaurants close by, right? If you target that to the hunter and gatherer, well, you might not want to show that much of them. You might want to say, hey, within an hour away, you have hospital and stuff like that. But then, because then they feel like, okay, it's far enough away from me, be alone. Because depending on who you want to target, the person that wants to be away from it all, they don't want to be next to a Starbucks. The last thing they ever want to be is inside a Starbucks. They want to be an hour away from the Starbucks, but it's good for them to know that there is a grocery store within an hour, that there is an emergency room within an hour, but you don't want to say that this is 10 minutes away. Potentially, even if it is 10 minutes away, you can say this lot is away from it all, yet in only 10 minutes, you can have the basic, most important amenities ready for you. So therefore, you're saying it in a way that for the recreational person, they know, okay, I'm far away from it. They don't mess with me. I'm outside of that. But if you want to market that to a retiree, you want to say, hey, you're a few minutes outside of town, but right within a short 10-minute drive, you have a Starbucks, you have a grocery store, you have a hospital, you have a medical offices, you have dentists, you have whatever things they're interested in. You have restaurants, and you have everything that your city has, yet you have the privacy of and the affordability of being close by to those things, right? It's the same property, but it's a completely different positioning of that property. One is attractive to the people who want to be close to something. One is attractive to the people who want to be away from something. As a matter of fact, the other way around. The people, the recreational people, want to be away from the civilization. The retirees want to be close to the civilization. Right? So you show the amenities, and depending on that, you do or do not show the McDonald's, right? And so on. And then, but then you also, if this is an area that's potentially good as a retirement home again, or for somebody to build their house on there, then you want to show the houses in the area. So you don't just show dirt. You don't show just what the lot is. The lot is a bunch of ugly dirt. What it could be is, it could become that beautiful 2-story home with the turrets and with the double staircases and the round driveway in front of it, right? That's what it could be. So now you show what it could be and say, like, similar lots in the area have been built up to this. And then you're like, whoa! Again, now it doesn't look like it's in the middle of nowhere. It looks like it's a nice lot. So again, if you want to sell something in an infill location, if you want to sell something to a financial investor, you definitely want to show that the city's already approaching. You definitely want to show that the house is already being built close by, right? You want to show those things. And then you want to show the actual most boring part, the lot, because it's just dirt, right? If it's really wooded, you see a bunch of jungle, and if it's really desert, you see a bunch of desert. And if it's somewhere in between, it can be made to look actually very pretty. But mostly it's just dirt. And then once you've shown a few pictures of the dirt, then you show what's around it, so that they don't have the last impression of that it's just dirt, right? You show the actual lots, you show the actual properties, then you show again what's around it. You get them excited about the area around, again, about the fishing, the hiking, the camping, the dining, the hospital, the Walmart, you name it, the skiing, whatever it happens to be around there, and then you end your listing. Now, at this point, I always get the question, well, that sounds good, Jack, but where do I get these pictures from? Because you told me, Jack, that I can do this from anywhere, even from outside of the country. So I can't just fly in and go take a look at every property every time. It would be cost prohibitive, would take too much time. And how do I do that? How do I get pictures without seeing the property? And you're right. I told you that you can do this completely hands-off without ever going to see these properties, that you don't have to do this in your backyard. You can do this even from outside the country, from anywhere on. So therefore, where do you get the pictures from? Very simple. First of all, you can get some pictures from the county website as well as from the state website. And also in some cases from the city website. And here's the reason why. By law, as I understand it, but you should check with your attorney, is since the county is being paid by taxpayers, and the state is being paid by taxpayers, what the county and the state produces and puts up on their website is by definition public domain, meaning it is not owned by the state, because who owns the state? Who owns the county? It's the people that live in a county, right? It's the people. We're in a democracy. We're in a federation in the United States. So therefore, pictures of properties, pictures of lakes, pictures of areas that are posted on the county website are mostly free to take. Now make sure I say mostly. When I say mostly, is what I mean by that is that there might be some copyrights on some pictures and the county only gotten the licenses for that. So what I recommend, where I have been safe with that, but I recommend you do the following. Number one, you ask the county for permission to get some of these pictures. Usually they give you the permission. Number two, if you can't get a hold of somebody there, I have been usually safe, which the way I've been doing this, and you have to decide on whether or not you do that yourself too, is I have been taking pictures from the county websites that were obviously not taken by professionals. So sometimes you go into counties and you see pictures that are clearly taken like by regular citizens doing a city fest or so on. They have been uploaded to the website and so on. These are typically, they're free, or the county photographer took some pictures, put them up there. They're usually free to take. If they start looking like stock photography, like really well lit professional pictures of like amazing sunsets and amazing like staged kind of like pictures, stay away from those. Number one, because probably this picture is 50,000 times around the internet also, and it doesn't even look real. And number two is because you could run into issues with copyrights on those pictures. But if they look like amateur pictures taken by somebody uploaded to the county of a lake, of the hill, of the mountain, of the Walmart and so on, so then you usually can take those and use them in your own listings. That's my experience. Again, you want to check with the county. Don't take my word for it. But I've done fine with that. So if you ever get dinged with it, don't come to me. Just make sure you ask the county. That's the safest way. Now, if you don't want to ask the county, if you don't want to do that, you can always go another way. Here's one of the best ways to go. It costs just a few dollars, but you can do this. You can go to a website called WeGoLook.com. And under WeGoLook.com, you can hire them. It's not super cheap, but again, take it into consideration of what you're doing here. If you're in the process of perhaps making $20,000 on a property, is it worth spending a few dollars on a service that actually gets in the car, drives to the property, takes pictures and video and sends it to you? Well, WeGoLook does that for you, and as of the time of this recording, they're charging about $120 minimum to do this. Now, they used to charge $50 for that. They increased it to 120, so it might be a different price when you go look at it, because again, it's a third-party company. I don't own it, but they have basically figured out how to create a network of people that they can tap into, that go out there and look at these properties. Also, very simple, even simpler and cheaper in many cases, you can go on Craigslist. Go on Craigslist in the area where the property is located in. Right? Go on Craigslist, whatever you are, Florida, that county, that city where the property is, and then put a posting there and say, looking for somebody who can go out to property it's 5 miles outside of the city, 5 miles from XYZ location. So if you have a town center, there's a suburb, and you can say it's 5 miles from the center of that suburb. So people know where they are. They can say, well, from my house it's 30 miles to that suburb, so it's 35 miles to the property, and then they give you quotes. They can say, since I have to drive 35 miles, I'm going to charge you $75 for it. Somebody else might live in that suburb and say, like, hey, it's 5 miles from me. I'll charge you $25, and I go take some pictures and some video, and I send it to you. But bottom line is, you can hire people on Craigslist for a few bucks. Doesn't even have to be 50. Can be 20, can be 30, can be 50, can be 200, depending on where it is, how hard it is to get there, how many answers you get. But when we do that, we very regularly have like between 5 and 25 people bidding on these jobs, wanting to do that from us, because it's easy money for them, and it's a much cheaper version for us than either go to wegolook.com or actually have to fly out there. We certainly don't want to do that. So also, obviously, Google Earth and Google Maps. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what you can do with these Google Earth and Google Map apps out there. You can see this Google Maps Street View. Now, if you haven't used it yet, let me quickly demonstrate. All right, so here we are again in that area outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And if I go over here, I can go to this particular area, right? And then I can go, what you do is you take that little man here in the bottom right and just drag that man over here. See over here. And it does the Google Street View here, right? You can go over here, you can go check it out. You can go there, and then you can even go, sometimes it even allows you, if you don't know where you are, you can zoom around here a little bit. You can go up a little bit more, because apparently I put it a little bit too far south. And you can go in here. You can see, can I go in here? Does it allow you to go in here? No. Let me see, there should be Google Earth. Well, if that doesn't work, I can also zoom in. I can zoom in and go to this one again. And I can say, well, put me in here. This is really where I want to go. So if that doesn't work, but I can still see, I can see those things, you see? I can go Google Earth, and I can go into perhaps this neighborhood here. Well, it doesn't allow me to do that right now. So it means the Google vehicle has not driven there yet. But the Google vehicle has driven in many other areas. Let me see if I just randomly find another area I can go to. So the Google vehicle has driven like probably all over the place. You see all the blue areas. So the Google vehicle has gone here. So if this were to be the area, I can just go here and I can look at that. And now I can use a screen capture tool like Snagit.com or Jing, and I can just simply get this up here. For example, let me grab Jing right now. Jing is right here. I have it on here. Jing is coming up. And let me see where my Jing is. There's Jing. So Jing is this little bubble, and all I can do, I can just grab this right now, and I can copy this, and I can even put in text here. Oh, that's the wrong way. I can click on the text here, and I can even say here, and I can say properties like this are all over the area and just a few minutes from the lot. Right? I can do that. I can make this bigger. Right? I can do the different text and so on. I can make this even bigger, and I can't center it, but I can move it around a little bit. And then what I can say copy it, and now it's copied. Or if I want it again, I can go over here and I can edit it, and it's right there. So now I can copy this from here. And if I now open a Word document, just open a random Word document, see, I can put this in here. And just like that, I can put this also into a listing agreement. I can put this on a website. This is a picture I can use. And now, if the lot of ours is like that, I'm not just selling a lot. I'm selling how the lot could look like. I'm selling a beautiful house that this lot could become. Does it make sense? And this is how simple it goes. You just use Google Street View, Google Maps, and you can do this all over the country. You can go close by, and you can go far away. So you also want to use that hourglass principle in the text. So what you do is you need to start out with a bold statement of value or of an attractiveness. You want to say, here, 5 acres in the highly desirable XYZ lake area. Right? Lake and mountain views. 2 acres, 20 acres in the middle of fishing, hiking, hunting, and so on. Or 2 acres smack in the path of growth. Right? Or 2 acres of paradise, affordable retirement living, close to everything. Right? Depending on which your buyer is, you want to state that statement before, but you also want to potentially right away start with the value of the property. So the thing is, that's the first step. You might want to say, attractive 20 acres valued at $69,000, now only $25,000. Well, right in the headline. You're catching everyone's attention. You're catching the person that wants a bargain. Everyone wants that. The investor wants a bargain. The retiree wants a bargain. The guy wants to go recreational wants a bargain. Everyone wants a bargain, right? So you anchor in the true value and that it's a bargain. Then you prove that. You anchor in the next step is you truly anchor in the true value of the property. And ideally, you want to show some examples of properties that sell or listed for $70,000 in this example. I made up an example right now where the property is probably worth $70,000, where you perhaps bought it for 11 or you have it on a contract for 11. And this is the deal. So it says like, you say, valued at $70,000, right now only 49. Well, that's a tremendous deal, right? That's a tremendous discount. What you do is you start out with your proof. Hey, first of all, here's an example. Here's 2 properties listed for $70,000. Then you say, hey, ours is only, you can get ours for $49,000. It's the deal of this lifetime. So let's look at a quick example, as a matter of fact, of one of those. All right, this one is actually right here. Look at that. Here's one of our students. 1.37 acres valued at over $91,000. And that $91,000 is crossed out and say, buy this property today for only $24,900. It's like, what the heck? When you see that, you're like, attention, antennas up, right? Then they go and they show proof of it. They show the lot. They show the houses around. And they probably in this video show some proof that other properties in the area are selling for $91,000. Then they repeat their claim, and then they go into the details where they basically say what I just said, right? So you go in, you say, hey, here's the deal. Get this 1.37 acre property valued at $91,000 as a steeply discounted price of $24,000. Don't miss out on this huge deal. With over blah, 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 blah. This is just 15 miles south of downtown Dallas. Now, who does it address now? It could be the hunters, but probably it's a prime location to be able to enjoy the urban and cultural downtown Dallas has to offer, yet still live in the suburban lifestyle. That sounds to me like it's the retiree kind of that is being approached here, as well as the investor, because it sounds like it's in the path of growth, right? Similar properties in the area listed for $91,000. So this is one of our students. He's missing a little bit more proof here. So ideally, he should insert right now here a couple of screenshots of properties that actually show that. And then like a little map that says property A is at $91,000, property 1, $85,000, property 3, $89,000. So you can say, well, it's not just a claim, it's the truth. And then you say, buy it now for only $24,900. You save over $60,100. Then he gives the details, GPS coordinates and so on. And then he says that right now. And then at the end, he has a phone number, call to action, as well as a place for people to opt in. So that's a good example for that simple 1-2 kind of punch. You anchor it in. We were missing a little bit of these statements of proof in there, but then we say, hey, here's yours, and yours is you can get it for a tremendous discount. So it's very similar along the lines of what I said here. However, you can actually add to that. Now, this student, again, is one of my private coaching students. He is set to not offer seller financing right now because he has built a team around him, and this team needs to be paid. He has guys that analyze properties for him. He has a guy that helps him sell the properties. He has guys that work on the website and so on. So he has built up a nice team, and he says, like, at this point, I don't want seller financing. I don't want cash flow. I want to make a $15,000, $20,000 cash on every one of these deals. And therefore, if I do 5 deals a month, I'm making somewhere around $75,000 to $100,000 a month. That's more than plenty for me to pay everyone and still take home, like, I don't know, $60,000, $70,000 or $50,000 a month in profits. So that's all good. And only after I've established that for a while, build up a little nest egg, then I'll probably offer seller financing. But that's all good. However, if you're ready to offer seller financing right now, you can actually add on to that. So you can use the hourglass principle in text with seller financing in addition. So you do exactly what we just did. You'd say, hey, property worth $70,000, you can have it for $49,000. But now you sweeten the offer. You make the offer even sweeter by offering seller financing. For example, you say, seller financing offered. You can have this property for just $7,500 down and $500 a month for 8 years. So the price is still $49,000. But now you sweeten it by offering a really low down, which in this case is just around 15%. So now this all of a sudden, now if you think about it, if you anchored in the value of $70,000, ideally with some little map that shows where these properties truly are being listed or sold for $70,000, which should be close to yours. Then you say, but you can have this one for $49,000, and on top of it, you actually only need $7,500, and the rest you can do in monthly payments. Now we go like, boof, people's minds are blown, and the phone should be ringing very quickly. People should be interested in that very, very quickly because now it becomes very, very attractive to them. But on top of that, you can do what I call the triple whammy. The triple whammy number 1 was a discount from $70,000 to $49,000. Whammy number 2 was, hey, listen, on top of it, at the $49,000 price, I can offer you seller financing with just $7,500 down. And the third whammy is you completely crush it by giving them a killer extra discount for cash offers. So in this case, you got to be fine with selling the property at only $39,900 in this example, but it's still more than half value, and you probably bought this property something at $11,000. So here, therefore, we can say if paying cash on top of all of that, you can have the property for just $39,900. And now you literally, in summary, you've basically anchored in the market value. You discount it to your price, then you sweeten the deal with seller financing, and then you actually drove them crazy with an additional cash-only discount. Now, this is what you want to do to sell your properties very, very quickly. Now, you don't have to do number 4. You don't have to do. You can kind of guide people. You can actually decide whether or not for them. You can steer them towards seller financing or towards cash by varying the down payment amount. So, for example, if you want to really sell with seller financing, then you can do this exact thing. Say $70,000, now only $49,000. And by the way, you can have this with seller. If you only give me $100 down and $500 a month for 10 years, you can have this property. Now, if somebody hears that, they're like, oh my God, I get a $30,000 or what is it, $20,000, $21,000 discounted property for just $100 down? Let me jump on that. So by reducing the down payment to almost nothing, you made the seller financing option super, super attractive. At the same time, if you don't want to do seller financing, you either don't offer it or you offer it kind of like as a last resort with a very high down payment. So in this case, if you paid $11,000 for this property and you want to make some cash on that deal, you can say, hey, listen, property worth $70,000, you can have it for me for $49,000. But I need at least a $18,000 down payment, and the rest can be paid in monthly payments of $700 a month for the next 5 years. So you're making both terms of the down payment less attractive, which is you're increasing the down payment and you're increasing the monthly payment. So now when somebody looks at that, they're like, well, I'm excited that it's a discount, but the seller financing is really not attractive. Can I just pay you cash? It's like, yeah, absolutely, you can. So in that case, you might as well also drop the seller financing and just do what my private coaching student did, which is basically say, hey, this property is worth $90,000. You can have it for $24,500, which is the world's most unheard of crazy discount. So go for it. Right? But if you do, or if you are open to seller financing, then go all the way, I suggest. Go all the way and say, hey, here's worth 70. You can get it for 49. That includes actually a seller financing. It's a great price for seller financing. And if you're willing to pay cash, I give you an additional discount. But when you put those 4 things in place, you have the highest, the people should be, the phone should be ringing off the hook. And if not off the hook, then at least you should be getting notifications on an ongoing basis about these properties. Right? And here's the thing. Now, the family that I told you about in the introduction to this module is Jorge Mejia and Aline Rosenheim. Now, Jorge did exactly that process. I told you, they were advertising 4 or 5 properties. I thought it was 5. It's actually only 4. But then there was a 5th one that just came later on. And here's after I gave him that thing. I gave him this exact step process. In addition, I gave him one extra process step, which is to advertising in more places. But we'll get to that in the actual next few modules. So I took it out of here. But I basically gave him the tips on how to better advertise their properties. They said we were advertising 4 properties at a time. We were receiving some calls, but not many of those were good leads, nor were we receiving the response rates we were looking to get. After our call, we were able to implement the following tips and were successful in putting buyers under contract for all 4 properties in less than 2 weeks and close on them in less than a month. That's the power of what you're just learning here. And here's, by the way, here's their properties. On the first one, they bought it for $900, sold it for $5,000. Second one, they bought it for $1,984.03, sold it for $7,000. The second one, they bought it for $1,128.58 and sold it for $6,900. And the fourth one, they bought for $4,500, sold for $15,000. And then another 5th one came in shortly afterwards that made him another about $5,000-$6,000. In total, if you add these profits up, now these are not like this incredible profits, but they're solid one-hitters, right? In baseball, if you just keep hitting singles and doubles, right, then you're going to go around and you're going to score runs, right? And it's the same thing here. So the first one, $4,100 of profit. The second one, $5,000 of profit. The third one, $5,700 in profit. And the fourth one, $10,500 in profit. And the 5th one, then another $5,000-$6,000 in profit. So the total of these 4 is $21,610. The total of all the 5 that came together was over $25,000. Now, you get that? I mean, if you did I don't know, 3-4 times a year with an extra $75,000 to $100,000, change something in your life? And the answer is absolutely yes. Now, neither Jorge nor Aline, as far as I know, have actually gone and looked at these properties. They're sight unseen. They were bought on sight unseen, sold sight unseen. Just by tweaking it and applying this hourglass shape and anchoring of the value in the 4-step process, they sold these properties very, very quickly. So I'm excited for you to do the same thing, and that's my homework. Go study that. Go look at the county websites. Go check out some of these places where you can get pictures, where you can get descriptions of the properties. And if you have been following my steps by now, you should be in the middle of selling the properties. So you should be already eating this up and watching this 3 times over. And now in the next module, we are going to go and talk about internet marketing. Finally, we're going to talk about the mechanics of actually selling it. We're going to talk about buyers list, opt-in websites, marketing basics, and so on, so that you can finally get these properties out there and start crushing it on the selling side. Thank you very much. See you there.